I thought I got the game for a minute. I love, like, Penny, the smart person, was fooled by that.
Basically, going back to my point, this story I find personal value in because I dealt with a school that refused to actually deal with problems that were literally bully related until there was sort of direct intervention, and even then it was just this very forced...
Because these are different playthroughs, that you're gonna count those long time no sees different, like, as different things to the counter, right?
Unfortunately.
Yes!
Unfucking fortunately.
Oh, like I said in the other playthroughs, wait until Skies of Arcadia.
Anyway!
That game will shoot it up by like 5.
My point. Yes, you could have fleshed these guys out a little bit more. But to me, it is less about them on an individual level and more about a school that basically failed kids in need, because these guys essentially are just nerdy dorks.
Though I'm sorry, how does someone like Eri get bullied? Like, look at that woman. Like, isn't she slightly taller than the director?
A little bit. Joking as, like, this story,
Remember, I brought it up in the other playthrough. The guy I watched that was a teacher basically sort of said a similar-ish thing.
I don't really care about them on an individual level, because I just find
I felt the purpose... I know this is weird to say, I felt the sort of purpose of the story is about them more as, like...
a group.
And really...
And... also about something which, again, you could say is me defending lazy writing, but it's just me looking at this from an angle that I don't think Brian was. That them as individuals, why do we need to fully know their backstories when the more important key point is a bunch of nerds that were picked on for their weird interests, were forced into becoming the bullies that they were initially attacked by as a self-defense thing? It's not about the individual and inherently what these kids did, but it's about them coming together as a weird collective and ironically becoming literally what they...
I know it's the meme, but they literally became what they sought to destroy. Like I said, I know, like, it's the meme, but that basically is literally, like, the lesson here. Seriously,
because they...
yeah, seriously, this woman is taller than all of them.
But, yeah, I do love it. It's just...
Yeah.
Like,
I know you have a point to make, but because we're on a mild time crunch, be looking up where, like, Nasty Plot is in Area 0, because I kind of need that.
I do love... My point here... Yeah, maybe getting to know them a little bit more could make you feel attached. But to me, this story was never about them on an individual level, and is literally about a school that failed kids who needed help. And as someone who literally had this sort of exact scenario go down, I mean, obviously not 100% exact, but literally had an administration sort of turn a blind eye until a bunch of people complained. It's so funny to me, and Brian looking at this and wanting to get to know them more when, again, I think the point is less about them individually and more about when a group of nerds was forced into basically becoming bullies themselves after getting bullied, and only then, when they look like this and start doing weird shit, does the school care. It's like the administration fell.
I know it's a whole argument thing, but it's cool, sad, like, given any ideas as to what the hell the DLC, like, would do, because...
Oh, fuck no. But apparently it's the best DLC ever.
Because, again, like I said, it's its own argument, but it's like, was, you know, all of this being over and shit, it's one of those, in, like, the DLC or whatever, you could potentially have more interactions with them now.
Talk about some other stuff.
Now that, like, the Team Star thing is over and their, like, community service would also be over, unless that's literally when you would be able to find them. Not like I said, it's very much its own argument of if something like that it should.
And also,
my point was more of
the other thing, and it'll come up more in a minute, but because we did my playthrough first, the other thing Brian was really mad about, and again, I think he kind of missed the point here, is he was like, she literally embezzles money, and they don't punish her at all. This is so stupid. She should be in federal prison.
I will admit, it is, like, in the context of... Like, in the context of the game, it basically is a slap on the wrist.
Except the thing is... And, again, I think this is... you leave the school.
No, I couldn't remember if it was at the top or if it was at the bottom.
No, I kind of get where he's coming from, but again, here's the other thing, and we didn't talk about this with those two, and I didn't say it at the time, because I didn't have a good way to word this, but yes, in a lot of... She admitted that as a child, like as a teenager basically, that she was able to hack into the league, and when hacking into the league, that she basically did steal a bunch of points, and that she'll talk about that more in a second. I can say my point here because I was jumping the gun. Because I knew what she said, where you ask, again, jumping the gun a little bit because it's about to happen, you ask what happened, and she basically says that the league was not all that mad, which is what letting me off easy, so even the game kind of acknowledges that a little bit. And they said that they wanted volunteering, and they offered her a job, and Brian was like, why are you rewarding someone who hacked? And I was going to say, because this is how I look at this situation, is because instead of putting her in prison or whatever, yeah, she hacked. One, she did regret it, and two, they realized that she found flaws in their system, and that maybe you should get the person who broke your system to fucking secure it, because sometimes the best people who can actually allow you to have security or like fix things are often the people that hack you. And to me, you could say, oh, she's not being punished, but it's like, she is helping tighten security, which you could look at as actually a better thing instead of punishing her for hacking, keeping an eye on her and letting her work to patch those holes, because maybe the person that broke I'll look up Nasty Plot in a minute. Maybe the person that broke your security should be hired. Maybe the person that broke your security...
Why can't... You can't fly to the gate, right?
After you've opened it and done some story stuff, you can.
Why can't you fly to it normally? Going over there, you should be able to fly to it.
Because you've never opened it. Because if you go to the gate before this point, it's closed. After you've been here... Go back to my point. I get the basic idea of, oh, she should be punished. But to me, what I like about her not completely getting punished is basically taking someone who had...
Yes, but at the same time, we have, the team star or people that, did arguably less, literally basically have to pick up trash.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, did any of you also have a similar experience to Team Star, where you basically got bullied in some way, and due to the negligence of your school, they basically did not handle the situation well at all until it was far too late, or maybe you got punished for being a victim? In my case, I got bullied a lot, and the school never really did anything about that. But then there was this one other time where I remember we were in the gym, and everyone was just sitting around in the gym for some reason. I don't remember why everyone was doing that, and I don't remember any teachers in the gym at this time, and I remember kids were sitting on something, and they really should not have been sitting on it, because I remember it was a stack of something, and whatever it was, I seem to remember was related to something going on in the gym. I think it was a stack of mats or something. I don't fully remember, but I remember a bunch of kids being on top of it, and then when a bunch of the kids sitting up on top of whatever this was needed to leave the gym, they got down, and because this was decently high up, when they stepped off, they basically didn't really pay attention, and someone basically ended up stepping on me, and their foot basically ended up hitting my face, and this ended up doing a good bit of damage. And as an adult, I can basically say that these kids should not have been climbing on a stack of stuff in the gym, and I feel like a teacher should have been in there to prevent that. I don't remember why the teacher was not in the gym at the time, and it basically took my mother complaining to get the school to do anything, and this is why I basically think Team Star is relatable, because I have dealt with a school that basically did not handle a situation like this well at all. Now, thankfully, even in the worst cases, I never got punished, but I still think it's obnoxious that they never really did anything to help me until my mother complained, and even then, her complaints were normally ignored, except in the case of getting stepped on, because that actually did do a lot of damage. Fortunately, it wasn't permanent damage, but after dealing with a lot of incompetence in that school, I feel like I can basically relate to Team Star. And this is why I think their story is well done, because it's super common that a school will not handle a situation well at all. And a lot of times, a school would rather cover up a situation to basically keep this illusion that the school is better than it is. And I feel like Brian missed the point of the ending, where Penny basically does get off with a light sentence. But when you think about how incompetent the school was and how they basically did not help her or her friends at all, because they would rather cover up this blemish to keep this illusion that everything is fine when it's clearly not, I think her sentence is actually really good, because they basically gave somebody who is clearly a bit misguided a second chance to do better, instead of treating her as a criminal, especially because she is still technically somewhat young, and they would rather nurture this talent than basically throw her in prison and essentially do nothing about the root of the problem, because the only reason she ended up doing a bit of hacking is because she was trying to fix her mistake, because Penny is clearly guilty about founding Team Star. So, in her own way, she was trying to fix the problem that she feels like she started. And the game does acknowledge that her punishment is surprisingly light, but it's obvious that they were going for positive reinforcement, because someone at her age could basically be given a fair second chance if they decided to stop what they were doing. This is a far better outcome than severely punishing someone who clearly regrets their actions. If she did not show any signs of regret, then I feel like punishing her more harshly could be fine, but even then, you might want to get to the root of what caused this. And it's clear that the adults re-evaluated the situation and realized this was a kid doing something that she thought was her only out, since the adults never stepped up to stop what would basically cause Team Star to form, which was a large bit of constant harassment and constant bullying. And at the end of the day, they basically took responsibility, since this would have never happened if they had stepped up in the first place. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. So you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute if you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media. That really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.